Hey folks, Dr. Mike Israel here, Fitness Myth Series number, I don't know, counting these numbers, 17. More cardio equals more weight lost. What? That's a myth. Hold on a sec. Let's take a look at the claims, reasons why it's wrong, grains of truth. I'm sure there's some. Sounds true to me. And then best practices to take home with you and even take to the gym if you like, if you do that sort of thing. So the claim here is pretty straightforward. The more cardio you do, and we mean formal cardio here, so like 30 minutes extra on the elliptical or a step mill or something, given a certain diet, the more cardio you do, the more weight and fat you will lose. Seems reasonable. And if you're not losing at the pace you want, doing more cardio, like another 30 minutes per day on the step mill or whatever, might not be the answer you want to hear as to what's going to get you leaner, but it is the truth. So those are the claims. Okay, seems reasonable. But apparently it's wrong, and here's why. Good news, we have 4 reasons why it's wrong. First is something I alluded to in an earlier video called Ponser's Paradox. It is the observation, very well supported, that most humans, as they reach very high levels of consistent physical activity, start to curtail their activity. And it's not, even if you say, I have to do this, and you do this, you do the cardio. Let's say you used to do 30 minutes on the elliptical. You didn't lose fat as fast as you wanted. Now you're doing an hour a day, let's say 5 days a week. Yeah, okay, an hour is an hour. You check that box. They did the cardio. The thing is, though, the total daily energy expenditure is cardio, plus all the other shit you do throughout the day and to fuel your body needs. What ends up happening is if you push that formal cardio high enough, your body and brain automatically start to take away activity from all the other shit you do. Usually you park at the store, you park it out at the end of the lot, you like to walk across the parking lot, and just people watch or something. Now, totally subconsciously, you're parking real close to the store because you're so fucking tired. The more formal cardio you do, the more you get tired. The more informal cardio, just general physical activity that you do, your body temperature can even scoot down a little. The total daily energy output, thus from adding cardio, might go like that. And then thus on the scale, week to week to week, losing fat, you're like, fuck, I added so much cardio. How come my weight is barely budging compared to what it was? Because in other ways, in other areas, your body is really good at reducing expenditure if it detects that you're trying to push expenditure to a really, really high level, right? This creates a natural cap. It's a soft cap, not a hard cap, on daily expenditure. It's kind of like an asymptote. If you go 3,000 calories a day of expenditure and you add cardio, does your body just fine? It actually burns most of that. Let's say you add 300 calories of cardio. On the day, it adds 290. You add another 300. Of that, it adds 260. You add another 300 calories. That's a lot of calories of cardio per day. Then it only adds 200 and so forth until it gets to when you're adding cardio, it just subtracts from your total daily energy expenditure and nothing is gained. That is a thing. And point number 2 is that if you fight this and you really just try to grind it through, you get a watch like this, where it's just MyFit or something, not an endorsement. It's a fine step tracker. You get a step tracker, you do all kinds of things, and you make sure, okay, I'm really burning this many calories, period. I don't care if it's just from formal cardio. I've got the rest of the day covered. It can be done. However, you will get unbelievable fatigue from this that lasts and lasts. It'll fuck up your training. It'll fuck up your life. It'll fuck up your sleep. And almost no one can go on like this for days and days and days. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when people are trying to, eat a certain amount and have a crazy high physical activity, it's designed to break them down. A lot of special forces training, especially in the selection process, they intentionally throw more activity at you than you could possibly do, keep your calorie intake relatively normal or even below, and then it causes fatigue in almost everyone to go like this. And when the fatigue skyrockets, that's when they test who's a bad motherfucker and who's not. So in a situation in which you're like, well, I'm trying to get lean, I don't have to test how badass I am. You don't want to accidentally put yourself in a Navy SEAL training program, that level of difficulty. You just be like, oops, guess I did too much cardio. You don't want that. That's not good for your long-term sustainable fat loss. You want to make things technically as easy as possible and no easier than that. Number 3, this has been demonstrated in very high-level athletes over and over. It's not just, there's a lot of Ponser's work directly was in indigenous tribes and things like that. This has been demonstrated and observed very well in elite-level athletes who, yes, they work hard. They have crazy daily energy outputs. However, they also have easier days. They don't always go super hard. And if you've seen high-performance athletes, let's say on a college campus, D1 athletes in the United States, you'll see something very interesting, especially when they're in season, when a lot of the training volume is insane. The way they walk to class is like at half a mile an hour pace, like fucking zombies. You'll see them in the dining hall and everyone else is like, blah, 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 and athletes are sitting there like, they are spending almost no energy doing anything else because they're compensating so that their total daily energy intake, because practice eats up so much of it, they compensate the rest of the way. So this whole Ponson's paradox works in athletes. It's not like they violate it. And most athletes don't try to have this psycho energy expenditure of tons and tons of cardio, for example, while trying to reduce their body weight over weeks and months. They wouldn't make it. What they do as athletes, at least eat a shitload of food during that time. Or if they're trying to bring their weight down, they only do this for a few weeks. Then the weight gets to where they need to be, and then they coast. So if you're trying to do this in a long-term fat loss plan and you're like, fuck it, up the cardio, careful, because you could be in a situation where there's nobody else left doing the thing you're doing. And that's not because you're the toughest person. Maybe you are, but it's just because it's wildly ineffective, right? So all these things taken together, if you try upping your cardio beyond what is already a large increase, beyond what is already challenging, you'll get crazy tired. You'll move less. Even though if you do the cardio, you move less than the 50 other things you do throughout the day. And then your total expenditure, yep, your cardio went up, but your movement throughout the day went down, and your total expenditure is just about the same. So now you're doing more formal cardio, you have less time for other things in your life, and you're miserable, and sustainability is tougher. You win, not a whole lot. Now, that's all the bad stuff. There are some grains of truth. Yes, increasing cardio can lead to weight loss, duh. Especially if you start from low activity or moderate activity. And this is where a lot of bodybuilders, sorry folks, offensive times are ahead. A lot of bodybuilders act like tough motherfuckers and like, fucking eat the food and do the training. You gotta fucking grind through this cardio, brother. Oh yeah, how much cardio do you do? Fucking 45 minutes a day on the step mill, man. Holy fuck. Get rid of the Olympics. Joe bodybuilders here outworking everyone. Get the fuck out of here. There's marathon runners that run 10, 15 miles a day on average. Shut the fuck up. 45 minutes of cardio. What's the rest of your life like? I fucking wake up. I microwave my food. I check client emails. I drive my car directly in front of the gym. I walk out 15 feet. I go on a machine. Then I do 45 minutes of cardio. I go home. I work on client emails. I watch TV, and I walk my bulldog for 1 foot, because that's a far bulldog walks. Then I go to sleep. Holy fuck, man. You must be burning like 1 trillion calories a day. Oh, wait, you're not. And if you weren't doing cardio, your daily energy expenditure would be so low as to consider you potentially highly unhealthy. Okay, you're a sedentary person who slaps on 45 minutes or an hour and a half of cardio. You're now in the moderate activity range. So the reality is that if you are already in a high activity range, more cardio is a bad idea. But if you're in a low activity range, more cardio is a great idea and works every time, right? The mistake here is thinking cardio always has to lead to more weight loss and fat loss, not that it can under the right circumstances. That's the thing. After you're already doing a high level of effort, tons of physical activity, adding more cardio on top of that, in more technical terms, reduces the stimulus to fatigue ratio of cardio. The stimulus from going from very high level of cardio to ultra high, the stimulus is potentially 0 extra calories burned, or very few, because your body makes up for it in other ways. The fatigue is like fucking insane because you're doing like 8 miles of walking a day or some crazy ass shit on top of your normal shit. So it's not worth it. At some point, it's not worth it. So cardio can lead to weight loss. Increasing it can, but not if it's already very high. Usually if it's low or moderate, a good decent increase works really well. And here's the thing, cardio still works. We're not shitting on cardio. It's super healthy. If it's sustainable and you're not overdoing it, it causes great levels of fat loss. And it is done cumulatively over the course of months and months, on average in the moderate to hard range. 10 to 15,000 steps a day for most people will set up an awesome baseline of fat burning energy expenditure. And all you do is you control your diet a little bit, decrease the carbs, decrease the fats a little, eliminate all the junk, and then voila, you're losing pounds and pounds of fat a week. Mission accomplished. What you don't want to do is keep that food ultra high and just raise the cardio even higher, because that's somewhere your body can't really go. I guess a decent analogy here is kind of like if you're towing like a trailer that's 2 tons with your truck up, let's say you're going to somewhere in Colorado, so there's mountains. The analogy here is like if you say have a trailer that's 2 tons and someone's like, hey, like, what about if we bring extra shit? It's going to weigh 3 tons. Is that cool? It might be, but maybe 3 tons is like the max towing capacity of your rig. And at a certain grade, you're at like 18,000 RPMs and going 40 miles an hour. It's just like the heat in the engine seems to be getting quite high. Like, fuck it. Just do more cardio. Just go faster. Like there are limits to that shit. And at some point, it's not a good idea. You can't simply throw more shit in the back and be like, fuck it, the truck will handle it. There is a weight limit. Just the same with your body. There is a limit of expenditure after which it doesn't fucking matter what else you're doing. Your body's like, nah, fuck that. So where does that leave us as far as best practices? Something similar to what I said in the lecture before this is diet always comes first. Okay, so yes, doing more cardio is part of the solution, potentially, to increasing your rate of fat loss. However, you should fuck with diet first. Now, there's luckily a very simple algorithmic formula for how to determine what to do next. So here's the situation. You're stalling out. Or let's say you're supposed to be losing 0.5 pound of fat every week, and last week you lost 0.4 pounds, and the week before that you lost 0.35. And you're like, shit, I got to do something. I have to lose weight faster. Totally fine, totally understandable. You just ask the following several questions, and they will give you the right answer of what to do. You ask, will cutting my food calories make me more miserable? Or rather, I'll keep it even simpler. How miserable would I be if I cut the calories I need for my daily diet? This much misery, roughly in your mind, just emotional misery. What about if I increase my cardio enough to burn those extra calories? How much misery will that cause me? Because like if you're already doing a lot of cardio, someone's like, all right, do you want to eat this apple and then chop on the treadmill for 20 minutes? Like, fuck that. Fuck that. Get that apple out of my face. I'm not seeing that treadmill until tomorrow. I've had enough, right? So you figure out which one of these. Is it cutting the food? How much misery will that give you? Or is it increasing the calories from expenditure? How much misery will that give you? And you pick the one that gives you the least misery. You're saying, okay, I'm eating plenty still and I'm getting pretty high in the cardio here. I'm going to cut my diet a little bit, cut food intake, keep the cardio. Or you can say, well, fuck, I'm barely doing anything. Cardio is totally fine. And I'm not eating much. I'm eating like a fucking bird at this point. Let me increase my activity and it'll be totally fine, right? Pick the least painful option, the one that causes you the least overall stress and difficulty. And it can be a combination of both. You say, well, too much cardio too little or too much food too little, I'm not interested in it. I'm going to cut my food a little bit and raise my cardio. And that might be the right answer. Very, very simple formula. Now, if your cardio is ever so high that you feel notably tired throughout the day and half of the next day from that cardio, and you're not progressing in your fat loss at the pace you need, do not add cardio because that will make you so tired it'll interfere with everything else. Your best bet there is to either reduce the nutrient intake, and if you're like, dude, if I reduce nutrients, I'm just going to collapse, I'm going to be so hungry and tired, I'm going to be useless, then the answer is one of two things. One, if it's normal dieting, take a maintenance phase, reduce all the diet fatigue, get cracking at it 2 months later, no problem. Option two, you're a few weeks out from a highly competitive physique show, grind it through. See you guys next time.